pop locking on the dance floor.
Booyah, what's pop locking, y'all? Big Cool Boy, Robotic Puppets, West Coast Pop Lockers, down here at Cool Boys Boxing Camp and Dance Academy. And this is my YouTube channel where I allow pop lockers to come and express themselves. Talk about what happened, talk about how it went down, and talk about what you gonna do or what you did. You feel me? This is Cool Boys Pop Locking channel. Let's have some pop lock talk, y'all. Talk your shit. Booyah!
On the dance floor, I like the...
Welcome to Pop Lock Talk, y'all. I ain't gotta say who's finna be on the show.
What up?
Cause you already see the cat. Coming straight out of Pomona, y'all. The only second person to ever come down here and say, hey, I need to do my interview down there, Cool Boy.
In person.
That means we got some shit to talk about. But hold up, you know you talking to a couple of OGs. We gotta groove to this funk for a minute.
That real bass.
What you do off of this, Boardman? What you do off of this, Boardman?
Shit. I go see where the girls at. Where the girls at?
Hey! This is the homie Steve Arrington. Weak at the knees. Y'all too young to know anything about this. 35 and under. Shit, probably 40 and under.
Yeah, they heard it in some of the samples, I'm sure.
Yeah. You remember the freak, homie?
Oh.
You used to bust that freak?
Yeah.
Hit that freak, Boardman.
Yeah.
First we was calling it the nasty.
Yeah.
Then we call it the freak.
Uncle JM's Army. The whole sports arena. A sweaty, freaky mess.
You remember the gigolo?
Oh, yeah.
Hey. Hey, you remember the E.T.?
Not really, no.
What about the truth?
Oh.
Hey. What about the RoboCop, homie?
Nah, I don't know that one. Oh, yeah, okay. I think we called it something different.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes the names get switched up?
Yeah.
You know, depending on where you at, yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite dance? Besides the lock. I already know you was hidden.
Dude, it was so many. It was one called the Flirt.
Woo! How you bust the flirt?
Oh, it's all footwork, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you trying to make me get up.
You ain't slow to death, huh?
The camera's not properly coordinated for a demonstration.
We got room over there. And you remember the camel walk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Cool.
Boardman.
Cool boy.
Welcome to the show, homie. Welcome to the show. Funky, fresh in the flesh. He won't stop. He came down to Pop Lock. Ooh. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. I'm happy to be here.
Pound,
I'm happy to
pound,
be here.
Pound. Ladies and gentlemen, live on Pop Lock Talk, we have OG
Boardman.
Banging, straight, banging, straight, banging, straight, banging, yeah. Banging, yeah. Banging, yeah. Banging, yeah. Banging, yeah, straight, gang banging, yeah, straight, gang banging, yeah, straight, gang banging, what, yeah.
Tell them where you from, man.
Born and raised in Pomona,
Oh,
California.
Born and
Well,
raised. in Pomona.
born in Los Angeles, County Hospital.
Okay.
I'm a
Okay.
native to the Los Angeles community, and we landed in Pomona when I was in elementary school, and I was there all the way up until went out on my own.
Okay. That's what's up, man. What elementary school you go to?
Well, at that time it was called North San Antonio Elementary. They have changed the name, I think, twice now since then.
That's what happens when things been around so long.
Yeah,
They
see, there
rename
you go.
shit up.
Yeah, they rename shit, right? But
Yeah.
it was North San Antonio Elementary, right across the street from Pomona High.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the junior high school then?
Palomar's Junior High.
Okay. Did you go to all three?
Yes, for a short period of time. So I went to North San, Palomar's, went to Pomona High for a quick minute, and then, life stuff and, being a knucklehead, had to, bounce around a little bit and, finished up at Park West. If you're from Pomona, you know what that means.
Ooh. If you're from the Pomona, you know what that means. All right, so was you hitting in elementary school?
Nah, man, I didn't dance in public. That was like a big fear when I was a little kid, honestly. So at that, I lived in a neighborhood in Pomona. If you know about Pomona, there's a few different sets. We lived right in the middle of the Islands,
Okay.
which is a blood set. There's a bunch of other Crip sets in Pomona. So my introduction to the whole, gang culture was as a kid growing up around Bloods.
So did you bang?
Nah, bro. Nah. Quick story on that. Before we moved to the Islands, we lived in another neighborhood in South Pomona, and I was hanging out with Mexican kids my age in elementary school, and they're like my brothers in 12th Street. We're going to jump you into 12th Street. So we go to the park, they jump me into 12th Street, and they told me, now that we jump you in, if anybody ever mess with you, you come get us.
So you did bang?
Well, let me finish the story.
Okay.
So I got jumped in, then about a week later, somebody, this and this and this, and I'm a kid. So I run to the park and I tell them, hey, somebody messing with me, let's go get them. And the dudes that jumped me in was like, get your ass out of here, white boy. Get your ass out of here, white boy. You can't be in our crew. And so on that day, I learned I couldn't bang. It wasn't an option. So I just had to navigate without it.
Okay. Which turned out to be the better
It's
thing
all good.
anyway. Yeah.
It's all good. I am not
Yeah.
complaining.
That's what's up, man.
Well, I am kind of complaining. They jumped me in.
So here's yeah, I feel you. You went through the bullshit for nothing.
I took the consequence for nothing.
Yeah. They was just practicing. Man. Hey, so tell me the first time you was introduced to this dance that we love so much, man.
It wasn't popping yet. It was locking. There were guys in Pomona that were locking. There was a guy that went to Pomona High. I'm still in elementary school, and we're having like an assembly, and they bring a couple of high school talent, over to the elementary school to do a performance. And this cat named Charles came, and I was like the guy at the school that the teacher would send to go get the record player for the assembly and plug in the speakers and, bring the extension cords, right? The audio visual guy, right?
The engineer.
Yeah, I was that dude, right? Real good grades and all that. So I got these little things I did. So I set up the record player and he handed me Aqua Boogie.
Ooh.
And he said, play this song. He told me what song was on. I think it was like the second song. He's like, play this song when I point at you.
Yeah.
And so I had it all ready, and I didn't know what was going on. I
Yeah.
just knew I had to play this song when he pointed. He pointed at me, and I played that song. And he started, and he was locking. And he was, doing the acrobatic stuff. He was jumping and landing on his knees. And
Yeah.
and I was behind the thing. I was like, oh, my God. Like, the music and what he was doing, I was completely and totally captivated. And from that point on, it was like I was on a mission to find out what the hell is that and what. So that was the first day that my eyes got bugged out wide open and I had to go find more.
That's a beautiful start to your story, man. How old were you?
I was in like the 4th grade or the 5th grade or something.
Okay,
like
9
that.
to 10 years
Yeah,
old.
so I'm like 10 years old, something like that.
What year was that?
Well, Aqua Boogie was brand new. So, you know, when the Aqua Boogie come out, 76, 77,
76.
some
Okay.
you know.
So
something
you
like
started seeing the locker.
that. Yeah,
You saw the big homie Charles.
yeah.
Okay. And then when did it convert to transitioning to you wanting to start hitting?
So I remember vividly.
Wait a minute, I apologize.
Yeah.
How far did you go with locking?
I never locked. I couldn't figure it out. Like today, if I got a lock to save my life,
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to make it.
Okay.
But
But that was the beginning
that
of this.
was the beginning of what is this? And then, you know, so my experience in this dance was that, you know, that there was a community of lockers, and, you know, then popping came in, and many of the lockers became poppers,
Right.
and some of them didn't, right? So there were starting to be people in the Pomona area in my sphere that I could see. The house across the street from where I lived was a very busy house, if you know what I mean. There was a lot of traffic in and out all the time.
Polite way to say it.
Yeah, and they would have parties and people would be hanging out.
Okay.
So there was always music. They were playing music 24/7, and there was always people around. So I would be like cutting the grass or raking the leaves or whatever, and see people out there dancing. Most of the time it was the girls, but every now and then you would see somebody locking. And then I remember there was a point where it kind of shifted, and people was popping, where they were doing the pop what you got.
Yeah.
You know, that became very, very popular, and even the girls was doing it. It was a social dance.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of elevated, and then there was so did that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You going-
okay.
you going
So
through.
so then there was a specific thing that happened. Somebody moved into the neighborhood, specifically right next door.
Okay.
The family, the Griffin family, specifically the oldest brother, the oldest son in the family was Bubba, Dater's Bubba Griffin. Now, they were from San Francisco.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm now in like the 5th or 6th grade, and the family moves in. And again, I told you, this is a blood neighborhood.
Yeah.
They, from Frisco, go to San Bernardino for a couple years, and then they come to Pomona. He shows up in all blue, with a flag, okay?
He has
Unpacking the truck, the house with all the activity across the street. What up? What, whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
Somebody happened to come by, bumping some music, and he started doing this, you know,
Yeah.
and then stopped and did a little tick wave.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh. And I was like standing there in the yard like, wait, they're not going to kill him?
Right.
Like, he just got a pass
Right. You
because he dancing. And at that, I was like, I got to get that shit.
You got
Like,
power.
I got to get that shit. He got a pass. So,
That goes to show you the power of the dance, man.
Yeah.
It creates peace. I know a lot of dudes who went to a lot of different hoods and got a pass because of that, man. Entertaining.
yes.
Entertaining. So that dude was from Frisco.
They were born and raised in Frisco, and then they moved to Southern California.
So it
His
makes
family
sense.
Yeah,
It makes sense, man.
and his style, you know, within like the next year or whatever, I became involved, right? And I was like, his style of popping was different than what everybody else was doing down here. He was
Because he was strutting.
He was strutting. It was on a slower tempo, more deliberate, and he stayed with it for a while. But as he got older,
Now, did he mention any crew names from out
and
there?
I wasn't asking nothing. Like, as far as I knew, that dude was like everything.
So that's the first person you seen get down.
That I saw, like, completely and totally strictly pop.
So did you connect with this dude?
Yeah, he had a brother that was my age. So I ended up, you know, me and his little brother, we ended up, you know, running the streets together, you know, and playing basketball and all this. And then there was a sister, Lisa Griffin, who was a couple years older than me, and, you know, Bubba was the oldest. Lisa was hard too, like
What?
she could pop.
Okay.
So this was like the first
Okay.
time I seen a girl like pop, like
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
pop,
yeah.
to the point where I saw her in battles after school at Pomona High, and she was cleaning it up. Like, she was dope. So when he kind of stopped and was doing his thing, running the streets, she was the one that dominated the poppin' scene for a while in our little area.
Did she only go by Lisa?
Nah, I can't remember what her street name was. She had a poppin' name, but I don't remember what it was. But I don't think that she really kind of got out of Pomona or anything like that. Yeah, and the family Bubba was, we lost Bubba. He was murdered a few years later. And, the family kind of spread out, so I don't know where they at anymore.
Hey, man, let's show Bubba 5 seconds of some pop love. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop like love to Bubba, man, because that's who you
Straight
saw
Word
first,
up.
right? Yes.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
So we got to give him love, man. So you picked it up from him, watching him. He blew your mind. He saw how the dance creates peace, right? And can get somebody off your ass, because that could have been trouble for
Yes.
Right. So from that point, it escalated. Where did it escalate in your life?
So what I did
Who
is...
was next?
Well, what I did is I essentially just, tried to copy what he was doing in my room when no one else was around. And just practicing a basic strut. And he had like what later we called a body wave. And one arm wave, and he did a couple of other moves, but I basically focused on that strut and trying to figure out how did he make his body hit, and then eventually I met up with some other cats from school who were into it, and that was how I eventually ended up meeting our Slick Dog, spent some time with him.
So you met Slick first?
No, I wouldn't say first. I probably saw No Bone first, and there were other guys in Pomona that I saw first. Like, I was dancing with other people, and they were like, well, there's this guy who, and this was before his name was Slick Dog. I wasn't Boardman then either, So eventually we connected, and, we would practice together and shit like that. And then we moved from the islands.
Okay.
So I went up to the Bay Area for a minute. I spent one school year up in Suisun City, which is it's at the end of the Delta near Fairfield, close to Vallejo and all that. So, I was dancing up there a little bit, but they were on a different style. Like, it was a different vibe.
Boogaloo.
But it wasn't even like, I feel like they were still kind of locking, and I never really got into like who the main guys were, so I didn't get connected. I was only up there for a short period of time, and I was.
Did it grab your attention?
With what they were doing? Yeah, they were dope. I remember going to a school assembly at Fairfield High, and they had like their top crew from the area there performing at the assembly, and it was dope. It was dope. And then after the assembly, I threw a couple of moves or whatever, and like the crowd tripped, and they took it as if I was being disrespectful.
Really?
Yeah, because like, who is this, white kid, and why is he,
Yeah,
and I wasn't doing the same stuff they was doing, so
and back then it was a big deal. It was a big deal to see a white boy popping back then. Nowadays, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
But back then, it was special. It was like, it made you stand out, of course.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So eventually you did come back, right?
Yeah, I came back to Pomona, and that's when we moved to the south side, to the village. And that's where, right before I moved up north, I went to a jam they had in Pomona at Griswold's, and I seen this cat popping, and I was like, who in the hell is this dude? He had like complete control. He was like, he had a level of control, and he was my age, and he had similar frame and body style, he was tall and thin, but his level of control was like just out of this world. And then like 2 days later, I was shipped up north. So I never got I didn't even get his name or nothing. Well, I moved back move into an apartment in the Angelos, and in the building next door is that guy. That was Daryl Stokes.
Mr. So what year was that before you moved when you saw him the first time?
This is, I'm like in the 9th grade, halfway through the 9th grade. I'm not in the 10th grade yet, so this is like in, I don't know, 80?
Okay.
Something like that.
So you didn't get to say nothing to him at that time. But then you end up moving next door.
Well, he wasn't in a talking mood that night. he was trying to slay everything in the circle, you know. So it wasn't. Yeah, and Stokes was not always. I don't know anybody ever give him an award for being friendly in the circle.
Oh, okay. Okay. So tell me what happened, man, when you came back for the second time and ran into him. Tell me how that story goes from that point.
Immediately, so when I realized it was him, he was literally outside practicing with Stretch. And I had heard about Poppin' Larry, is what they called him back then.
Poppin' Larry.
Because Poppin' Larry came to Pomona High, he went to Gary High, he came to Pomona High to battle Pimo.
Ooh.
Captain Pimo. Captain Pimo was like this, mythical figure in Poppin' in Pomona at that time.
Okay.
And Larry came up there and put in work, and it was like, people were like, well, Larry won. Some people were like, well, Pimo won, so it was this thing. So now here I am, I'm living in the same apartment complexes where Daryl's over here and Larry's across the street, and I'm in the middle, like literally my apartment's in the middle, and I'm like, oh man, like I can't ask for nothing else. And so immediately I'm like, I want to practice. Can I get down with you? Can I do a routine? And they was like, nah, man, we do our own thing, which actually made sense because I wasn't on their level, right? I had to put in the work. I had to learn what they was doing. And, nobody want to bring somebody in just because they're in the neighborhood and screw up their stuff, right? So, so I had to put in the work, and they kind of mentored me. Larry was like, I got to say, Larry was, like, Poppin' saved my life. It changed the direction of my life. And Larry is one of those primary influences that, helped make that real.
What direction would you say your life was going in?
Well, man, I went up north to live up north because I was out of control. Like, Mom's was like, you got to get out of here. So I had to go live with cousins up, somewhere else. I was just a knucklehead, teenagers being knuckleheads.
That's what's up.
So.
So you and Larry became close.
Me and Larry became close. Me and Stokes became close. The three of us ended up becoming close. And,
But at what point they said, okay.
It took a few months. It took a few months, man. It was one of them things where I was like, man, I don't think I'm ever going to be good enough to be getting down with them. And then one day it was like, hey, we're going to do this, so this is how you do the routine. And they didn't even say you're in the group, you've done good. It was just, okay, do this routine.
Let's go, Boardman.
And so I just was like, really? So, I'm on the routine, and then
You just make sure you hit it right.
Larry was like that big brother, the energy. Like he had that energy where he could walk in a room and everybody would be like, who is that? What is he gonna do? And then Stokes was the discipline. Like for real, the discipline. Like go to school, come home. Half the time I wasn't even going to school. Like he was still going to school, you know what I mean? So back then I was like, wow, he's really disciplined. He went to school every day. But he would come home and he would, eat, change, and then come outside.
So Stokes was cool. He wasn't in no trouble.
Man, you talk to him about his path, but to me, compared to the shit I was doing,
Yeah.
Stokes was a square.
Okay, that's
All right,
okay.
he was a square. Now you back him into something, and he gonna deal with it, right? But he wasn't going out looking for trouble. Like that's just not his thing. He was disciplined. He would go to school, come home, and then practice until the sun went down. The way his apartment sat, the windows, the sun would be going down over here. So if you stand in front of the windows, you can look. It's basically a mirror. So while the sun is up, he's got mirrors, put his boombox, plug it in, put in his tape, and he would sit out there until the sun was down and pop 5 days a week. 5 days a week. And he was like methodical in his practice technique. And I had never seen anybody focus on anything the way he did. So his skill set just advanced so far.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So let me ask you this. So that's telling me about Daryl Stokes.
Yeah.
So you're telling me about Stokes. To me, that's saying it motivated you to step your game up and improve your craft on.
My whole thing was, first of all, I don't want to get left so far behind that I can't get down with them.
Okay.
So it was kind of like, I got to keep up.
Right.
And the other part of it was that, I don't know where this comes from, but this has been a thing for me in business and in life in general. I set a goal. And the goal was, I want to get in this group and I want to perform with these guys, because I believe that if people see what they're doing and what they're letting me do with them, like, we can do something. And this is, as a kid, I'm looking at this and I'm like thinking in my mind, what kind of shows can we do?
Well, let me ask you this, Boardman, and I think this is a real important question. What did you think that they wanted from you for you to be able to get next to them in formation? What exactly did you think they wanted to see from you? Was it hitting? Was it waving? Was it robotic? What do you think they wanted to see?
That's a really good question. I don't know that I've ever actually thought of that.
Because they have a level that you had to reach. So evidently you showed them something for them to say, well, come on, man, come do this routine with us. What do you think you accomplished at that time? What did you go perfect? What did you go work on?
I don't know that I have an answer for you other than the expectation and the requirement was that I had to be good at my own thing. We couldn't show up. You couldn't show up with the three of us and two of us doing the same move. That was not going to be tolerated.
Mm-hmm. So is it possible also is because the friendship grew?
The friendship grew, and I developed my own little lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't something we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and I don't know that was really totally unique for the group structure of poppers at that time, right? Groups at that time, you showed up with variety.
So back then, give me an example of how the routines were done. Were you guys double popping, or was everything boom, bam, or were you don't? Because I know back then.
Okay, so
a
we
lot
call
of
that
people,
a two beat.
Oh,
So
two beat. Okay, I said double pop. Okay,
Okay,
two.
so we're on a two beat, like
Yeah.
the original chain reaction.
Okay.
Was always a two beat.
Okay.
All right, and as far as I know, it was Stokes and Stretch who were the ones that said, okay, we're going to speed it up, because they were like masters at the chain, right? So they would do a chain and literally try to lose you. Like, that's how practice chain was. Like, okay, I'm going to turn this way and go that way, so you can't see, and you better keep up, and you better be there with me.
Right.
You know, like
up.
when you have a basketball team, right? The dudes know, if I get to this spot, he's going to get me the ball.
Yeah.
That's how the chain, the dynamics in the chain was.
Right.
So they moved it from the 2 beat to the 1 beat, where it was boom, 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 footwork, you know, and that was hard. Like,
What? You know what that is? Yeah, the Groovitrons.
was like a stretch of skill set in the beginning. But, we all worked on it. And then there's another part of it is that, just like, and you got your boxing thing in your dance school, right? So you know that when you're teaching somebody something, you gain a greater understanding.
Right.
You gain a greater depth of knowledge.
That's true.
Right? So for them in popping, spending time helping me understand the one beat, it also made them
Enhance.
deeper in what they were doing.
Right. So at what point you knew for sure, it was confirmed, you were a Groove-a-tron?
Well, we weren't the Groovitrons yet. We were, we kind of had a couple different names as a crew. Mostly at this time, it was, they named me Boardman.
Why?
Yeah, see. They was making
And
fun
wait a
of me.
minute, what was the name before Groove-a-tron?
I feel like we went by Tough.
Really?
Yeah, we had a crew. At one point, we went by Tough, and then we went by Fantasy.
See, this is why I love Pop Lock Talk. Now, this is the history part where I'm talking about right here. Because a lot of people don't know that the Groovitrons had other names before they became the Groovitrons.
Well, and there's a story behind the formation of the Groovitrons that I think is really important because there's other people involved that are really important, but they're not active with us in the last couple of years.
Put those names out there.
So the Groovitrons, after me, Daryl, and Larry had a crew, and we were putting in work, and we was battling, and we had a rep, and we were leaving Pomona.
So you guys are the top three, the main three.
From Gary High, from our area, we kind of are doing our thing. We're, getting the status, right? And Stokes is advancing very fast.
So is Stokes the creator or Stretch, or they did it together?
No, I would say that it was a dual thing. But Stretch was doing his own thing. Daryl did things like he advanced the shoot down waves, where you just you're standing there and you run through a wave, right? Like that was all him. The Rubik's Cube, the glove tuts, the throwing the ball. Like this is all shit that we watched him. Remember I was telling you about how he would practice? We watched him create and develop and then be like, oh, that was kind of dope. And then spend the next 3 weeks mastering it.
Okay, so you were actually the third member.
Yes, of that crew.
Who was next?
So then we joined up with the Groovitrons. So the Groovitrons was a crew that had already been formed by some cats from Ganesha High.
Okay.
And so the cats at Ganesha High, Dr. Doom, Shamrock, Poppin' Playboy, now known, well, Dr. Doom is now known as Marco Polo. He's a vocalist. He did some stuff with Quick back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was kind of the originator, the ringleader for the original Groovitrons.
Man, this is history right here. Okay.
Poppin' Playboy, also known as DJ Maestro.
Okay.
Okay, pretty famous DJ.
Yeah.
And then we went and got Lady Tic Tut, Monet, y'all know as Medusa. We had another young lady in the crew named Billy. Me, Daryl, Larry, Doom, Cliff, Maestro, Monet. And there was a cat named Philip, but soon after we got into it, Philip kind of went, he left the crew. So we had this crew with like 7 people, and we like took the name Groovitron, what Mark, aka Dr. Doom, aka now Marco Polo, says that the name the Groovitrons is very specifically used because in the 70s, the Jackson 5 had a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes, they did.
And in one of the episodes, Little Michael has to do a science project.
Okay.
So Little Michael makes a robot
Yeah.
that dances when he hears music. And he called it a Groovitron.
Ah!
So the name Groovitron is directly connected to the Jackson 5
That's dope.
cartoon from, you know, the mid 70s.
That's dope.
Yeah. So this is like the Jacksons way before Michael does Off the Wall.
Yeah.
This is way before.
Yeah, because he was lit.
Yeah,
Ladies
so-
and gentlemen, you just found out how the name Groove-a-tron came about. Right here. You heard it from Boardman right now. And this is the truth. He's the real deal right here. I love this.
Yeah, I ain't got no reason to fake it.
I love where this is going. So tell me this, man. Is there a particular style that you would call your popping?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a popper. Like, and I say that as I'm. If you ain't hitting, you ain't popping. Like that's a conversation that I've had to have with some of these new schoolers in the last 10 or 15
You know,
years.
I got a song called that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I got a
Yeah,
song. I
yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah, if you ain't hitting, you ain't popping.
Right.
And I understand that, you know, now it has become this, you know, well, it's an umbrella term, and you have this, and you have this style, and this style, and okay, that's all good. But if you're going to get into a popping contest, your ass better be able to hit on beat.
Yeah.
Well, at least my preference would be you be on beat, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you got to understand how to hit. So for me, everything about this is the hit.
Okay. I agree with you, man. You ain't doing nothing if you ain't hitting, homie. But look,
Yep.
check this out. There's 3 other people I want to ask you about. I know No Bone wasn't a Groove-a-tron, but it's all family. But there's Dollar Bill and there's Slick Dog. Were they Groove-a-trons?
No,
Okay. They were G-style.
no, not then.
Okay.
Not back then. Back then, so the 3 of them, so No Bone is in a special category in my experience, in my life experience, because he was friends with like my best friend's brother or whatever. So I would see him at like social events, and you know, we get to a higher level, we feeling good, we doing the music come on, and then all of a sudden this dude come out of the corner, you know, like an alien, you know, and he's doing this stuff to the music, and I'm like, okay, he's popping like nobody else I've ever seen. Nobody else I've ever
It's
seen.
hard to mimic him.
And he's like amazing. And I remember the first time, you know, I had met him a few times and didn't know he was a popper. He was just one of the guys, right? And then he came out and he like folded his whole body up, you know, and he was all down here. And then he snaked out of it. And I was like, what the? Whoa. So he was like this mythical real life thing because of the way that he did it. And then, you know, when I would ditch school in junior high and go to Pomona High to hang out when I knew they were having a dance, you know, we'd hop the fence and sneak in to see the school dance, to see the battles or whatever. I would see him get down sometimes. But like even back then, I didn't talk to him about popping because like I didn't know where to start. Like it was intimidating because he was just like so far out there and unique. So he's a primary influence on all of Pomona, just like Stretch,
Now,
just like Pimo, just like these other guys that, you know, aren't famous or known in the poppin' world. But No Bone is very important, and he was a major influence. And I don't want to keep talking, but he was a major influence on, as far as I know, Slick and Dollar Bill.
Okay.
They hung out together a lot.
Okay.
And then they formed a crew called the Heartbreakers.
a heartbreak.
So there was a crew in the Pomona called the Heartbreakers, and then the Groovitrons, and these were like the 2 dominant groups.
Okay.
And it was always
So
like
was
the
it love when you guys was always together?
No, the joke was,
Okay.
according to them, this is what Slick told me from his own mouth, that they called themselves the Heartbreakers because they were going to break the Groovitrons' hearts. True story.
Yeah.
True story.
Okay.
That's what he told me. So yeah.
Okay.
So you know, and this is years after. Remember, I mentioned Slick earlier. When I was younger and I was just kind of starting out, we hooked up, we practiced together and stuff like that. We had mutual friends. He didn't live too far. Then when I moved up north and came back and was living on the south side, didn't really run into him too much. And you know, he was doing his own thing. So yeah.
Now, has there ever been a time where that whole Pomona card, you Stretch, Stokes, No Bones, Slick Dog, Dollar Bills. There ever been a time Medusa, all of you got together and went somewhere to battle? Because I'm hearing there was a time there, Pomona, Pomona and Long Beach used to go at it.
So Pomona and Long Beach went at it, like Time Bandits and a bunch of the cats down there, many, many times, because they were a legit crew. I mean, they were hard. They showed up, they showed up with the gear, which is a kind of an important thing. I feel like I gotta say, if we're gonna, you say the purpose of these interviews is to document the history,
exactly.
Right? So the showing up as a group, looking like a group, matters.
Yeah.
It really, back then,
Images,
you wasn't a group if you all showed up completely different.
Nah, image is important, man.
Yeah. So Time Bandits they always showed up ready.
Who was a threat, in your opinion, from the Time Bandits?
So Deuce was always like up in it and, kind of in your face and polite. Not, it wasn't like a total jerk, but he was like a dominant force. And then Pierre was around.
Hold on, Boardman. Anytime we say one of the homies' names, let's give him some love, some pop lock love. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop lock love to Deuce, homie. We miss you.
Bobbitron.
Come on, Boardman.
Bobbitron. Yeah, so we would run into, I remember specifically running into the Time Bandits at Uncle Jam's Army events.
Tell me about it, man. Come on, make it juicy.
Man.
Make it juicy, Boardman. Come on.
Well, the juice is the Uncle Jam's Army event.
Right.
Because, they would throw a jam and we would show up. I remember one time we went to Ladera Heights Park or Ladera Park, a park in Ladera Heights. And it was a free jam on a Sunday, and they passed out the little flyer cards, and said, come to Ladera Park on Sunday at 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock, Egyptian Lovers DJing.
Yeah.
Man, we rode the bus for 5 hours to get there.
Good grief.
The RTD was not friendly. We get there, and it's gotta be, 1,000 people, and it's a freak festival over here.
That's how it used to go
and
down.
The other half is popping.
Right.
It's all popping, and everybody in black and white, the golf hats, the karate shoes.
Yeah.
We didn't really wear tennis shoes back then.
Nah. You had the Nick Kickers, penny loafers, crocus sacks, wallabees.
Some dress shoes, some
Chucks,
Stacy's,
yeah.
Whatever. So, we would show up and we would survey the freaks, and then we would go battle real quick and then come back to the freaks.
Did he say survey the freaks? Survey the freaks. I like that one. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. So, Ladera Heights, that park, that jam. I just remember, there must have been, 100 poppers
getting down.
Just, it was, and I remember a couple of the Time Bandits was there. They wasn't deep, right? But there was a couple of them, and they represented. And there was other cat like Smiley from Pasadena, who I've seen online recently. He's back in it and involved. He would be there, There was another Smiley from Pasadena, a shorter dude, and that Smiley dude from Pasadena, the short one, and one of the Time Bandits. They ended up in Breakin' 2. When we worked on Breakin' 2, they were like the bad guys from Electro Rock or whatever, the storyline bullshit was. But that was one of the Time Bandits and that cat from Pasadena. So Spanky, not Smiley, Spanky.
Okay. Boardman, tell me the difference on how you feel from how we used to get down and battle back then to where the crews go at it now. Because we're doing the same thing all over again. It's going down. But to me, back then, it had a different vibration on me.
Yeah, so I would explain it this way. I try to explain this to my daughter. you can't take the impact of the internet out of the current active dancers. So that goes deep. For us, what we had, there was no internet. What we had was 1 hour on Saturday, and it was Soul Train.
Soul Train.
And we would see stuff on Soul Train, and sometimes Soul Train dancers would do something we hadn't seen yet. But for the most part, whatever they were doing on Soul Train, we were already doing it, or it was, you know, whatever. And this is where we would see, you know, the dominoes, you know, Diesel and Fantasy every week.
Yeah.
There was a couple of year period.
Who was
there.
on Soul Train?
They were there every single week, and they were getting featured on the Soul Train line.
Yeah.
So that was special when we battled the domino.
Oh, y'all battled the dominoes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got to tell me about this,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Talk to me, homie. Come on. This is Pop Lock talk, boy, man.
Okay, so okay.
Let's have some Pop Lock
So
talk.
today's dancers, I feel like they have this internet
Yes.
and you know, Snapchat, all
Okay.
that stuff
Right.
in the mix.
Right.
Where for many of them it is an advantage, but there is a point in the battle where you're so prepared that you lose something.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
If you know your competition inside and out, you know, you're kind of, it changes it. When we would show up and battle, we had no idea what was about to happen. You had to be ready for anything and just go.
Right.
So, and I don't want to get a million comments from the new school dancers. I'm not dissing nobody. I'm not.
So y'all chill out,
but
calm your nerves,
But
kick
it was
back.
different. It was different. So, dominoes.
Tell me what happened, homie.
Yeah. So this goes deep.
Ooh, I tell y'all, Pop Lock talk is so juicy.
So there was a
y'all go get your popcorn and shit. Sit down.
Yeah,
Enjoy this.
yeah, so-
if y'all know how deep this story is, probably if you're into Pop Lock and you know this is going to be a dope ass story. Come on, Boardman.
There was a skating ring in Puente Hills Mall.
What year?
Oh, dude, I don't know. This is like 81,
Come on now.
82,
This is the
81,
Pop
82.
Lock files. We have to document it.
81, 82.
81, 82. That's good enough for
Fantasy
me.
and Diesel are active on Soul Train.
Okay, that's good enough for me.
It's before Breakin'. It's before the movies.
Okay.
It's before when I say before Breakin', it's before the movie Breaking, and
Right.
people are not breakdancing yet.
Okay.
It's still a poppin' world.
Not out here.
Not out here.
Not in Cali.
Not out
Okay.
here.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So these promoters pump up this contest. It's a 6-week tournament style contest.
Okay.
4 weeks, 6 weeks. And they promoted this thing for months. So when we showed up with me, Stokes, Stretch, Maestro, Doom, Medusa, and Billy. And we broke it. They had different categories. There was a group category, so we have 5 members in the group. Me, Stokes, Stretch, and Billy and Monet. And Doom. And then 6 members in the no, maybe 7. Anyway, and then we put in different age groups. Okay? So I got into the age group that I was in, and I had to battle Mr. Lean for the championship. Maestro got in it, and there was this cat there that we had heard of, but we had never seen him in person. I had never seen him in person, and his name was Boogaloo Shrimp.
Uh-oh.
And this is before the movies.
Yeah.
And this dude was a problem. He was a problem. Like, he could go rounds and rounds.
Yeah.
And he had all kinds of different moves, and his animation stuff was like off the chart. He could wave. But yeah, so, and his footwork was just like
That gliding was something else, yeah.
Crazy. Like, he would hit a move and he literally, it looked like his feet were turned backwards and then he was sliding.
Yeah.
You know? So Shrimp was there with the Unique Dominoes.
Okay.
So the Unique Dominoes put together the crew with the younger guys, Lil Tough and
Lil
all
Tough.
of them.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop Lock Love the Tough.
Yes, yes. I don't think there's footage of him, and like, he was really, really
Oh,
something.
he was hard.
Yeah.
And he was the smallest one
You ever see the footage from Ion LA TV show?
of him.
Yeah, he's included in that. That's like, to me, I think that there's a footage of him doing a routine
with the whole crew.
With the whole crew.
Yeah.
But there's a solo.
Well, fantasy.
Yeah. So, but the footage of him on Ion LA, I think, is like a better representation for him.
Okay.
So anyway, we are in this battle, and we look up, and it's the guys from Soul Train, and it's the Unique Dominoes, and there's like 15 of them. Mm-hmm. And they're all in, they got the same baggies, they got the satin jackets that says Unique Dominoes on it, and it's like, okay, it's on. And I just remember like everybody in our crew like getting the game face, and we was like, okay, we got some other people that were there was the fancy dancer, no, the Showtime dancers, Tic Tac and Cosmo. Cosmo, rest in peace.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got to show all Pop Lock love to all
Cosmo.
poppers.
It's a homie.
Yes,
That's
Cosmo.
And there were several, Mr. Lean was there with his crew, and his crew was him and his dance partner, I believe, is now his wife and the mother of his kids. I may be wrong there, but I think that's what he told me the last time I saw him. So, yeah, there was heavyweights in the popping world at this event, man, and it was a tournament, So we ended up going to the finals. We got trophies, all that, and it was just an amazing event. Everybody brought everything they had, So, and this is before breaking, so it was 100% popping, I have people come up to me at the Great 1-8ers event last month. A guy came up to me and mentioned something. He said, Boardman, I remember that kickworm you used to do. You would basically be standing up, and then, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, we were getting air with it. And that was kind of a big deal at that event.
But Boardman,
Yeah.
who won the battle between you and the Long Beach Time Bandits? No, I'm sorry. You and the Dominoes.
The Groovitrons won that category, the group category.
Okay.
Yeah, Shrimp won his category. Mr. Lean won the category I was in. I got disqualified for being unsportsmanlike.
Boardman was a knucklehead. Hey, so Boardman, trip off of this, homie. Did you ever think there would be a day, especially back then, man, that they would have popping in the Olympics?
No. Are they going to have popping in the Olympics? I know they're going to have breaking, but are they going to be popping?
Man, they got to take the poppers with them.
I don't think they're going to do that. I agree with
I
you.
was told they're going to have poppers.
Okay, that would be amazing. And if that's the case, they need to get the dialogue right, because there's no press about popping. It's all about breaking.
Okay, so you know how they do it. They don't understand it, so they probably umbrella it all, consider all of it called breaking.
Right.
If somebody up there hitting, they're going to say that's breakdancing.
Right.
So here's the deal, man. Who would you pick? Tell me 5 youngsters, if you know your youngsters these days, that you would pick to represent USA.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah, you about to make me get into all kind of political
wheels
trouble.
is turning.
Okay, so I would have to pick Poppin' John, man, because
John.
like from a skill set and like a ability to show up and turn it on, like it's really, as a performer and a battler, like he's got all that. I would probably throw obviously Frantic, the battle monster.
The battle monster.
Frantic,
you a battle monster, homie. Hey, Poppin' John, give us a holler, man. Contact Cool Boy. Get on Pop Lock Talk. The big homie Boardman said your name first, so that means you got to come on Pop Lock Talk. Come sit down, man. Holler at a Pop Lock.
So we got 5, right?
So you got Frantic. Let's start. Poppin' John, Frantic.
I'm gonna throw Kid Boogie in there.
Kid Boogie. That's another battle monster, huh?
Yeah, man.
That's a good 3 right there.
John Buggs.
Oh, John Buggs. That's my little homie.
Buggs.
That's
probably
that's
rounded
nephew
up
right
with
there.
Jay Smooth.
Woo.
JJ.
So let's do this 5 right here. Okay. So you got Boogie Frantic. You got Poppin' John, Boogie Frantic, Kid Boogie,
John
Buggs, and Jay Smooth.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They can hit a routine.
The USA popping team has been. We picked it. Me and Boardman right here. I approve. Pop Lock Talk stamped approve. We sending those 5.
Make it happen.
We sending those 5.
Make it happen.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up. Hey man, tell me something.
And we gonna be coaching.
Yeah, we coaching. Yeah.
We need a ticket.
Yeah. Hey, Boogie Frantic, no, I'm good for that shit. I'll coach to all kind of shit. Which he didn't need me, but older homies always want that props and shit. Now, Frantic, I need you to do this. Homie, backslide on his ass, then turn around. Cool boy, I got it. But look, tell me this, man. Tell me one of your most heartfelt, either one of your most heartfelt shows or a poppin' event that meant the most to you.
Wow, there's a few. So like as a formal show, a formal performance.
Yeah.
The Groovitrons was working with the Bob Hope USO tours for a while. So we would go to Hollywood where the USO office was on Ivar and Hollywood Boulevard, and that would be like the staging location, and they'd put us in these buses, and then we would get on the bus with a bunch of other performers, and the buses would take us to various military camps and bases throughout California. So sometimes we'd be on a bus like all day and then perform at night and then drive back for 7-8 hours. And one time we went to a Marines training facility for what they told us was it was a desert warfare training facility in 29 Palms area. It was in the middle of the desert. It wasn't in a city, but you got off the freeway at something that said 29 Palms, and then you drove for another like 2 hours. There were no buildings. It was a bunch of tents.
Okay.
Like as many tents for as far as you could see. There was tents. And then they put big flatbed trucks, and that was the stage. And there was a rock band, and there was some like jazz dancer women or quartet of jazz dancers, with the leotards and the tights. And there was a comedian, and the comedian that was on this with us was Phil Hartman. Before he went on to do Saturday Night Live and all that other stuff. And then this rock band. They introduced us. They had the main, like, colonel or captain or whatever come up on the stage, and we don't see the crowd yet. We're still in the bus. And they gave us military uniforms, like just the pants and a t-shirt and a hat, and the guy went up there and introduced us and said, literally, we have a demonstration of what your calisthenics are going to be next year. So shut up and listen. He put the mic down and walked off, and then they taught us formation and how to march.
Yeah.
So we march up on the stage, and then pack jam starts.
Ooh.
And as soon as the music started, they went nuts, because these are Marines in training. They're in their early 20s, maybe not even 20 years old
19,
yet.
yeah.
So they, with like all this energy and enthusiasm, we got into our formation and we hit our routine. We destroyed that routine. We fucking killed it. They had to play the song 4 times because everybody's route is solo. We hit a routine, solo, back to routine, solo. It's 6 of us.
Yeah.
So, dude, we just kept going because the energy was coming.
Yeah.
And then when we walked off, they were screaming for so long, and like they surrounded the bus. Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that was a pretty cool experience.
Hey, Boardman, I asked this question to everybody, all the pop lockers, because we are sometimes looked at in a negative way, or I noticed pop lockers, most of all of us are extremely unique in some ways. We are just rare type of people, man. We think on a different creative level. And a lot of people say, "Oh, pop lockers are crazy." I don't know if you ever heard of that term, but my point is, what I'm saying to you, man, is I want to ask you a question. Is there anything that you think you might be misunderstood by? Is there a perspective that is misjudged of you that you would like to clear up? Is there something about you that you think that you are misunderstood?
I don't know. What should I be addressing right now? I don't know where you're going.
So what I'm saying is,
I would say no, not really. Simply because like I have my experiences embedded in me that I can't worry about what other people's opinion of me is. Like I got no time for that. I am my own worst critic. I can't let you be critical of me because I'm too busy being critical of me. And I'm working through that on my own, so I don't need your shit.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't really care, you know. I do agree with you that the poppers, like there's something in the personality of somebody who decides that they want to become really, really good, that they're going to make the commitment to really become high-level skilled at popping. You have to have kind of a weird like thing in the DNA chromosome that makes you want to commit so much so you can make your body look like you're a cartoon. There you go. There you go. Work it out. Just baby. Just run it up.
You can find me in the club, bottle full of bug. Mama, I got what you need if you need to fill the buzz. I'm in the having sex, I ain't in the making love. So come give me a hug if you're in the getting rough. Go shorty, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you
I never looked at it in that aspect, but you're right. You're right, man.
You know,
It has
I'm going to take my physical being and become animated like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
What would make you want to do that? You know?
You know, so, and
would
it's
make
not
you
like
want-
you're going to put in a week.
Right.
You're going to put in years
Yeah.
to get to that level.
Yeah. And that's time. And time is everything.
Yes, yes. So, you know, I agree with you on that. That you do have to be unique to really go with this. Yeah, but that's another thing why I love it. You know, I mean,
What are you doing with the dance today, man?
You know, I'm at a place in my life where I'm really trying to enjoy myself. That, like, you know, the kids are raised. I have a great marriage. I like to travel, and I am not really active in popping more than supporting, you know, my friends and the younger guys that are doing it, and you know, that's kind of where I'm at with it right now.
That's what's up. Man.
Yeah.
Do you have any future goals?
With popping?
Yeah.
Ah, man, put me on the spot. Not really. You know, I sometimes think to myself that, you know, I want to get into better popping condition and then maybe go get some commercial work. But it's like, you know.
I think that's dope, man.
Yeah.
You know, it shows that there's no age limit. You know, just like rap, man. You got dudes that's approaching 60 years old and they still coming out with albums.
Nas just dropped a killer album.
Right. And how old is Nas? Nas is not too old.
He's younger than us,
Yeah.
but still, he's 30 years as a rapper. He's still killing it.
Right. So I love the fact, man, that the dance is not dead. There was a point in time where I came up with a slogan, and it was, I strive to keep pop locking alive. Because, you know, the dance goes, it does like this. 1 minute it's hot again, then it's back down here. Because there was a time in the 90s where it really just...
It wasn't even the 90s. It was in the 80s, man. And, you know,
late
Ice
80s.
Cube had a rhyme in one of his songs that said, if I see another brother trying to outdance another, I'm going to tell JD to get the double barrel or some shit like that. You know, like he was literally like, I'm tired of this dancing shit.
Yeah, Cube, you whack for that, homie. Cube. Boardman shouldn't have reminded me of that. Hey, all the pop lockers come on here and show you love when I say Snoop or Ice Cube and they say Cube, and then you're gonna have to do something and delete that lyric from off your albums, dog.
Well, it fit where he was at the time. I get it. But, like, it was almost
No, you
overnight.
cutting him some slack. Fuck that. I ain't
Yeah,
cutting
I'm
Cube
cutting
no
him some
slack,
slack.
homie.
'Cause
Take that lyric out the motherfucking rhyme, Cube.
Okay. So when I look back at what happened, like, immediately, first of all, like, popping, then breaking got just overly saturated. It was on you couldn't turn on any TV show or any TV commercial without somebody moonwalking or doing a windmill or a backspin. It was on the Captain Crunch commercial. It was on the Jiffy peanut butter commercial. It was on McDonald's. It was everything was somebody breaking, and the movies was everywhere and all that. And we benefited from it, but it was oversaturated. And then you had the musical shift to the, you know, West Coast gangster mentality, and they wasn't popping. They wasn't breaking. They, you know, they was on something different. So it just kind of faded out.
Boardman, I'm gonna get real technical and deep with you real quick, man, because this is Pop Lock Talk, and people want to know what be on the mind of Pop Locker. When you out there hitting, homie, and that music hits you, and you out there getting down, is something going through your head, or is your heart just following the melody and the beat and the bass line of the music? What causes you to fucking bust? What moves you? What's in your head? What's in your train of thought? Are you talking to yourself? Are you saying, okay, now after I finish this, I'm gonna hit this. Now, come on, Boardman, now go into your tick, go into your moves, break it down right here. What's going through Boardman's mind? I think that's what a lot of people want to know. What is a pop locker thinking of? How does he know what to do next? Because when they see us busting and we always freestyling, it's amazing to them. It's just like when a rapper get on the mic and just start spitting. How does he know what to say? Especially if it's not a written rhyme. Well, the same thing for a pop locker. Let's go into Boardman's head. Let's talk to you. This is real pop lock talk right here, man.
So the conversations happen before I get going. And by
With
that,
yourself.
Yeah, the conversations that, you know, like if there is going to be any sort of like agenda or point I'm trying to make, I will make that decision before I go out there. Once I go in, if I'm able to get into that space where I am able to just flow, where I'm not, it's almost like where you're not even really conscious, you just are in it. I am attempting to make my body become an instrument in the song.
That's dope.
So it's like,
well, which instrument?
It will
Your own?
change. No, it will change depending on the song. So if there is a song that is playing that has a bass line that is, you know, very rhythmic, that flows,
You become the bass line.
I will attach to. I can't become the bass line, but I will attempt to attach to it. You know how when you go in a studio and they make a sound, they hit the drum, right, and it goes boom, and then they turn the knob and it goes boom, right? So in my mind, I am becoming an instrument that is attached to the part of the song that I'm rocking.
Dope.
So that nobody's ever asked me the question the way you just did, so I've never explained this to anybody. So when I talk about, well, poppers, you kind of have to be kind of crazy or kind of weird or whatever, this is what I'm talking about. Like, how do you get to that mentality that I am attempting to become an instrument playing in this song? I can't replace what's in the song because that's not, that wouldn't be good. I want to add to it. I want to add to it.
Y'all hear that? You have to be a pop locker to even understand that, man. Look, give me an example of a song that really moves you like that. Give me tell me a song that I can put on right now that you'll take off your coat and say, I'll battle anybody. Because that's the beauty of music. There's a song that all pop lockers have
There's an anthem
that will tick, will tick them off.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, you know.
Like when a female say, that's my spot. When a woman say, that's my spot. Okay, well, what song is your spot?
I would probably, it will kind of toss back and forth between, I'm a Prince, like, fanatic. I saw Prince live 17 times.
Damn. I
have a tambourine that Prince threw. He played and he threw into the section where I was, and I got it. So there's some tracks by Prince that I don't know that other poppers would really go in on, but like, for example, Lady Cab Driver.
That's a cold one.
The drums and the bass.
Boom, boom. Cab Driver.
The breakdown on that is just like It's out of this world. You know, they got.
I always felt like that song should have been for Morris Day though.
Well, we can get into all that. Prince wrote and played all of the songs on the Time albums.
Yeah.
So at the time that he was doing the Time album, he was recording 1999.
I'm just more of a Morris Day fan.
Yeah.
That's all. I love Morris Day. That's all. Prince is cool.
I would do something like that, and then Jamaica Funk is always.
That's a dope one. That's a
Jamaica
really,
Funk. That bass line on, Marcus Miller playing the bass on Jamaica Funk is like out of this world. The jazz but funk. It's crazy.
Hey man, you came out. I don't remember the year. I'm gonna go with 2014. Yeah, about 2014 or 13. And you, No Bone Tyrone, Stretch, Daryl Stokes, came out to my video shoot, man.
Yep.
Called California Pop Lock.
Yep.
What was that experience like for you?
That was cool. The location was dope, and I remember we showed up. We wore we had these shirts made, and I feel like we looked good at that. We were all like uniform, and for me it was kind of a trippy day because I could have never imagined that somebody would be doing a song, California Pop Lockin', and then I'm going to be there working on the video, or sporting, getting down, whatever. And you had your crew, like you still had like a full crew back then. The Asian guy, right? There was
Lolo.
Yeah.
And that was 2012.
Okay.
It was 2012. I had a couple of low riders out there. We had the boat, we had the jet skis, and I wanted to show the world this is what California looks like, and that's why we did it. We shot it at Lake Elsinore, at the lake.
It's been several things that I'm involved with, and I look around, and I can't help but connect my young self to that moment and say, look at this. The stuff that we were doing is now international. I went to a freestyle session a couple months ago, and they had like 110 people in the popping contest, and they had people from all over the world.
Ain't that crazy?
And it's like people coming from all over the world that are good. It's
good.
not like they coming from, Asia or Europe and they're faking it. Yeah. Like, these motherfuckers are dope.
They're hitting, they're gliding, they're doing new shit.
They are taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
You know? And so to me, it's like, whoa. I went to London in 2012, and I was able to attend the UK B-Boy Champs. And the way they had that event was a moment that made me really, really feel like American society just does not respect us at all. They had an event with a breaking and a popping and a hip hop, contest, and the finals were held at the O2 Arena, which would be like the Staples Center or the Crypto Arena, and it was sold out. And people paid like, $100 a person in US dollars a person, and there were complete families.
Yeah.
Husband, wife, 2-3 kids, buying tickets, coming in, and they're just going to stand there and watch the contest. I have not seen that happen in the US.
Yeah.
Not on that level.
No, time has changed, man. It was unheard of back in the day for someone to give away $1,000 for a popping battle. Now, to compare to today, how things are done, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's off the Richter.
Yeah. So.
But Boardman, let's have some fun.
Uh-oh.
Let's have some fun, man. I'm gonna ask you some questions, and you can't tap out. If you tap out, I'm gonna call you a cupcake.
Here we go.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Cube or Snoop Dogg?
Snoop.
Tell me why.
I got mad love for Cube and what he stands for and what he has been able to.
Yeah, but he said that fucked
no,
up lyric.
I forgive him. I forgive him. America's Most Wanted is one of my top 5 albums, you know. But I picked Snoop because Snoop, it's like we have witnessed him become almost a different person, different artist multiple times. He has evolved and and he is now probably one of the top 3 most recognized names and voices on the planet. Like, the dude has been able to effectively put his energy out there on a level that you know, like he's on some Michael Jackson.
He's reaching
shit.
Michael Jackson. Yeah. Rap or funk?
I'm gonna go with the funk, but I'll take the good rap because I can't get enough of the funk. I mean, I can't find a good funk band that's putting out new stuff, you know.
Name a rap song you like to bust to. I know you love Jamaica funk, but what rap song you like to get out to?
What would you do if you could get with me or my crew?
Yeah, you like that Snoop.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zap or Parliament?
Parliament all day.
Is that right?
All day.
Knee deep?
That's Funkadelic.
Yeah.
No, Parliament all day. Just the characters, and I try to explain this to my kids. The experience of getting a record compared to streaming now, you can't really relate because you would go get the record and they would put in time, and part of the record was the album cover and the artistry on it and the story that it told. And George Clinton, Uncle Jam, with Parliament, with Funkadelic, with all of those albums, there was a continuing story, where you're bringing in aliens and spaceships, and all this stuff. So yeah, that's where it all starts for me.
Nike Cortez or Chuck Taylors?
Chuck Taylors.
Because they lighter, or you like the way they look?
The look, yeah.
Okay.
Got married in some Chucks.
You got married in some Chucks?
Yeah.
Well, I hope this don't end your marriage. Stripper or porn star?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a cupcake on that one.
No. Boardman's a cupcake. Our first cupcake, y'all. Go give me the cupcake so you can eat one. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stall you out, man. Dickies or 501s?
Wow. I'm gonna go with 501s, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you move better in Dickies?
Yes.
But you like the way the 501s
yeah, the
look
501s, man. It's just something.
They lay on them Chucks a little better.
Yeah, not only that, it's like, to me, that's like it's like the everyday. That's the everyday, any occasion.
B Street or Breaking?
Breaking.
Tell me why.
Well, it was a fantasy movie. It's not like it was based on reality or anything like that, right? But I could relate to it at the time. And I think that while Beat Street is, you probably can't measure how important it was to moving the culture forward. Breaking was something that was also important at moving the culture forward, but it was ours. I was popping before it was called hip hop. I was popping before, it was connected to rap music. So in that sense, the Breaking movie being shot in LA with a bunch of LA talent, to me, it matters.
Boardman, I have a saying, man. It goes, before the glory of hip hop, there was pop lock.
I agree. I look at it as, the lockers and all of the lockers, specifically, you know, the Campbell Lock lockers and that era, I can't, in my mind, and I'm going to say this out loud and put it out there, in my mind, I can't help but think that that was a major influence on whoever it was that was evolving and getting into the b-boy thing in New York. Like, you know, and again, if you go back and you think through it, they were getting a shot of the lockers for 15, 20 seconds every week on Soul Train. And, you know, what do people do? They see something they like, they try to imitate it. You know? So I'm not saying b-boys were imitating the lockers, but there has to be an influence there. You can't disconnect it. The lockers are that important. I went to the, when they before Don Campbell passed.
Yeah, the parade.
They had they named
the
street corner after him. I went to that ceremony.
Yeah.
And people were talking and doing everything, and it hit me while I was standing there, and there was some politician, you know, making a plaque or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it just kind of blurting it out loud. I was like, what would the world be like if there wasn't locking?
Man.
There wouldn't be no popping. I can't
I'll tell you what there would be. A lot of crime. A lot of crime, man.
Yeah.
A lot more shooting, a lot of more everything.
Yeah.
Because this dance was a distraction from that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it saved a lot of lives.
Saved me.
Yeah.
Saved me. Yeah, man.
Pop lock love to pop locking. How about that? Bone Thug and Harmony or Wu-Tang?
Wu-Tang for the children. Got to go with the Wu-Tang.
Okay. Pick one out of the three. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant.
Kobe all day.
Ooh. I see what you are. You are a person who is down with where you're from. You're a Laker fan, aren't you?
Absolutely.
You're a Raider fan? Who's your football team, man?
Niners.
My man. We homies from now. You're a Dodger fan?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah. Boardman, this interview was beautiful, homie. Is there anything that you'd like to express or get off your chest that you want to say to the pop lock world out there?
No, man, I'm very grateful that you asked me to come and talk to you. I'm glad we got a chance to do it, and you know, I'm good. I would like to ask you a question.
What's that?
So, can you explain to me, like, what was the moment that you decided that you were just going to dedicate everything to pop lock?
The moment. I had a job. I had a 9-to-5, and I couldn't stand the job, man. I didn't feel right. Something was like, this is not you. This is not you, cool boy. And I was working at a job where I had to wear a headset and do customer service and take calls. And when I would put customers on hold. And when you put them on hold, you pause it, and it actually times you on how long you're putting them on hold.
Yeah.
I would go to the bathroom, not having to use the bathroom, but go in there just to pop lock. I'll go in there, bust some moves, and come back, sit back down, put the headset on. Welcome to customer service. I mean, you know, come back to, and I realized this ain't me. I got to do something about it. And I asked myself, what do you love? What's your passion? And I was like, pop locking. So from that day on, I said, I'm gonna make this happen, and I did. I stopped using the word trying, and I made the shit happen.
Trying's not doing.
I don't use that word.
Yeah.
It's not in my vocabulary. I almost don't even accept it when I hear someone else say it, because I feel like you're bullshitting me when you say it. Hey, cool boy, I'm trying to come pick you up, man. I'm trying to be there by 2. You ain't coming.
Right.
You ain't gonna make it, but homie, that means you're gonna be here at 4:30.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
If you come.
Right.
Okay, I have another follow-up.
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Is that
You want to be my host, homie?
No,
we
no,
can
no,
flip
no.
this, and you can be
No,
Pop Lock
just-
Talk. No, talk to me. This Pop Lock Talk.
So when you like you asked me a question earlier
Yeah.
that I was like, oh, that's a really good question. You've done a lot of shows and a lot of performances, and you've been in a lot of very interesting circles, whether you're performing or before the show or after the show. What's that one thing that, gives you goosebumps?
The dream coming true. That's what gives me goosebumps every time. And when I say the dream coming true, was I never been on tour before, and to get that phone call and saying, "Come on, man, you want to go?" Whew. I was like, "This is it. Hell yeah, I'm going. Send for me right now."
As a pop locker.
I was gone, I got to live that dream of saying I can dance for a living
That's
and get
beautiful.
paid good.
That's beautiful.
And it was a rapper, and the rapper name was Afro Man. Afro Man hit me up, and I had just did his video shoot like 2 days ago, and he fell in love with me and called me up and asked me how much. He said, "Hey man, how much is it for you to go on tour?" And I'd never been on tour. I was like, I said $1,000 a week. He said, "Okay, I'll give you that plus $100 a day per diem." I didn't even know what the fuck a per diem was at the
Right.
time. I was like, "Okay, but I'll take it."
Yeah.
Shit, that's $1,500 a week. Next thing you know, boom, I was on an airplane, man, headed to Mississippi. Was on tour with him for almost a year.
Nice.
Yeah. Any more questions?
No,
my co-host.
Thank you.
Hey, Boardman, before we end this, man, you got to throw me a wave. I'm going to throw you one. We're going to do this right. I'm going to throw this wave to Boardman, y'all. I don't know if he can hang with the wave.
Link up.
Oh, you want to do it here? Boom. Pop Lock love to you, dog.
Thank you.
Booyah! Booyah! What's Pop Locking, y'all? If you have not subscribed to Cool Boys Boxing Camp and Dance Academy, man, push that button. Come on, push that button and subscribe. That way we may be able to send you an email and bring you on our show, Pop Lock Talk. This show, man, is, to let everybody know that, you got the rap industry, you got the hip-hop industry, you got the acting industry. Well, there's a such thing now as the pop lock industry. And this is where we talk about it right here. Cool Boys Boxing Camp and Dance Academy. Booyah!
I like the way you move.